ultralight, affordable, and comfortable. Yes, you definitely can have all three. I don't care what other people say. We're talking a 4-inch thick sleeping pad, a 4-inch thick pillow, fully enclosed tent, full cook setup, no cold soaking, and all of it comes in at a base weight under 7 pounds with a cost of under $500. Don't believe it? Let's get to camp. I'll show you my entire setup, set it up so you can see it in action, and then I'll even show you how I pack it in this awesome 30-liter budget-friendly ultralight pack. And I even brought in a weight scale so you can see the actual on-trail weight of my base weight. Let's get to camp. All right, first thing in the pack is food and cook kit. We'll talk about that later. First, let's get the tent set up. This is the Lanshan Pro 1. Let me set it up, and then we'll talk about it a little more and why I chose it. Now, they're not technically part of base weight, but I'll tell you the poles I'm using. These on Compact 3. Affordable, light, and I love that it's a twist lock rather than an external clamp lock. So much better. That's a large ant. Boom. If you didn't know about the stick trick to get a little extra headroom, you just got a little bonus tip. So there's the tent. Let's get the sleeping pad, quilt, and pillows set up. First aid kit, we'll talk about that in a minute. All of this stuff is in a compactor bag in my pack to keep it dry. There's the sleeping pad, no stuff sack. Ultralight means I did leave the pump sack at home. I don't mind using the lungs. They don't count in base weight. Look at that. That baby's 4 inches thick. Comfortable. It's wide at the top. I think about 19.5 at the bottom. It's only 17 ounces. $50. I'll try to remember the prices and tell them to you. They'll be approximate. I'll put them on the screen as well as the weights. Seriously comfortable pad for budget. And the quilt. Oh, no, pillow first. This is a Gear Doctor's pillow as well. Oh my gosh, I grabbed the wrong pillow. This is the Trekology. Darn it, man, we're moving. My stuff's all messed up. I grabbed too fast and didn't look. That's all right. I don't think this one's quite as thick as the Gear Doctor's. They're both about the same price. I'll put them both on here. The Gear Doctor's is the one I've used the longest. That's usually my go-to, my preference. I guess on this trip we're using the Trekology. See how it goes. Now the quilt. This quilt is from a company that I just recently became aware of, called Hang Tight, and I was so stoked to find them. It's super light, but it only cost maybe about $80. Super affordable, super light. It doesn't have all the same features as my hammock gear, but dang, on a budget, this quilt is awesome. Let's put it in. All right, now that we got the quilt set up, let's talk through this big three before we talk about other odds and ends in the pack, because this is where you can drop the most money and add a ton of weight to your backpacking setup. The tent is the Lanshan Pro 1. If you've been looking into ultralighting on a budget, you've probably run into this tent and either bought it or wondered if it sucked. I gotta tell you, I love it. I've included links below to where you can get it on Amazon and on 3FUL Gear's website. Right now, this color, I think the gray color, is on sale on 3FUL Gear's website. I don't know how long that'll last or if they'll run out of stock. It's $153 for this tent. And that is a crazy deal because you cannot get lighter and cheaper than the Lanshan Pro 1. One caveat I've got to tell you about though, you do have to seal the seams yourself. It's made out of a sil nylon and direct from the factory. It does not come seam sealed. So you have to buy some seam sealer. It's basically like a little glue, squirt it on there and then brush it on. It's super easy. I'll be honest, I was worried about doing it when I first bought the tent. It kept me from buying the tent for a while. It was really easy. And I've actually got a full video showing how to do it. I'll put a link to that up here. But if you've been hesitating on buying the Lanshan because of that, don't. Super easy. Currently on Amazon, I think it's $170. Still a great deal, but an extra $20 compared to the 3FUL gear. Let me grab the camera and I'll show you how roomy it is in here. All right, we got one door. I do like that it zips this way so that the door doesn't fall into the dirt. My Z-Packs tent does that, and I really don't like it. You unzip it and then it just falls right in the dirt. So I like that it hangs there and then you can roll it up. And there's actually a ton of room in here. You can see you got a bunch of headroom there. You can see how much additional headroom that gives using the stick trick. I love that little space over there because of the setup of this tent. You can put some gear or something over there, and then more room down there. I have not done that guy out or that one because I'm not worried about the additional room or wind. If you want to bring some additional stakes and do those, you definitely can. But yeah, this tent is awesome, affordable, and light. It's an awesome tent. I know trekking pole tents can be a little intimidating. I hesitated on getting them for a while. Freestanding are definitely easier, but dang, I have learned that I love hiking with trekking poles. And if you want a trekking pole tent but are worried about the setup, just get one and then practice in your backyard. That's what I did. It was a lot easier than I thought. I found after 1 or 2 setups, I could nail it, no problem. So don't be afraid to get a trekking pole tent. It'll save you a bunch of weight, and they're fun. I don't know, I like them. All right, let's talk about sleep setup. All right, as I said already, this is the Gear Doctor's Palo Air. 4-inch thick, comfortable. It is only 72 inches long. I'm 6 feet tall. I prefer one that's a little taller, but really, I mean, 17 ounces thick. I'm not gonna complain about that. That's really, really good. It says it has an R value of 5.2. I honestly don't think it's that high. I wouldn't take it into super wintry conditions, but man, for a 3-season pad, I really like it. And I can't find anything as comfortable and as light as this thing. And they stand behind their pads. I've got to tell you honestly, I had one for a long time. This is my second one, and it stopped holding air. Called the company, they said no problem. They sent me a new one, super easy. So this one's actually brand new. Fantastic pad at a fantastic price. Next, the pillow. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I grabbed the wrong pillow. Too late to go get it now. My usual is the Gear Doctor's pillow. It's a little bit wider than this Trekology. It's got that same grippies, same pad strap, nice and soft. And I think it's also a little bit thicker and maybe $5 cheaper. You probably can't really go wrong with either. My personal preference is the Gear Doctor's. Don't get to use that one on this trip. Fail. But yeah, you probably can't go wrong with either. This quilt is what I might be most stoked about. I haven't used this one a ton, but it is going to be seeing some serious use this summer. This is going to be my go-to quilt this summer. They do also have a 20 degree and I think also a 0 degree. So this fall I'll probably be buying both of those. Let's talk about some of the features on it. It does have super light pad straps. There's 3 of them, which is really great because this pad is a little narrower down at the bottom. So I really like that. It is a fully sewn foot box. That's my preference as well. There's no draft collar. That's all right, especially for a 40 degree quilt. Let's get a better look at these pad straps. So they're really minimalistic. My hammock gear ones have like a clip there so I can unclip it, because sometimes I decide it's a little warm and I don't want this one. But these aren't going to be hard to undo. All you have to do is pull that toggle through that loop, and then it'll come undone and you can easily get the pad strap off of right there. So, not as convenient as my other quilts, but a heck of a lot cheaper and lighter. So, super stoked about this hang tight quilt. You're gonna be seeing that on all of my trips this summer. All right, let's talk about everything else in the pack that's not part of this big 3. So you know what else is going into this base weight and cost of under $500. Oh! All right, other than sleep and shelter, super important thing to talk about is food and water. For water, because I'm going ultralight and because it's just kind of my preference right now, we're actually going full tablets. Now, I know some people don't want to do that. It's so convenient, so easy. They're super light. You don't have to worry about a filter freezing, a filter clogging. You can gather water the night before, let it purify overnight. It's just so easy. And I do always bring 2 different types of tabs. These are aqua tabs. They're really cheap. These are Katadyn or Katadyn tabs. The reason I bring both is that these ones will actually treat cryptosporidium, which is sometimes a concern in really messed up water or non-running water, or these are actually faster. So if I don't have time, if the water's really nasty, I'll use these. But really for the most part, I just use these ones, and they work awesome. Put links to both below, but that's what we're doing instead of a water filter. So no Sawyer Squeeze, no Sawyer Mini. That means I don't have to bring a filter bag either. I just put 2 tablets in and good to go. Let's talk about what you'll need for food. We have the BRS 3000. If you've been looking at going light on a budget, you've likely run into the stove, you may already have it. Let me just tell you, it's awesome. I've been using this one for 4 years, 5 years. I love it. Light, reliable, works fantastic. You will need to bring a lighter because there isn't any ignition lighter, so I have a mini Bic lighter. Oh, I put it in here. Nice catch. That's the sack that the BRS comes in. Got my mini Bic lighter. I'll put a link where you can get a few of these below as well. The pot is the Tokes Titanium 750 milliliter. Got the lid. I do bring the lid. Boils water faster, saves fuel. And then a Tokes Titanium long-handled spoon. Some ultralighters will tell you to go snag a spoon from Wendy's or something like that. I mean, sure, yeah, if you want to save 10 bucks and another ounce, something like that, go for it. Once you're done eating, you'll need to brush your teeth. For that, my go-to is the Garage Grown Gear Ultralight mini toothbrush. I love this thing. I only discovered it because they threw it in free with my first order from them, but it's only $1. So I think I have a couple of them at this point. It works great. Super easy to hold on to. And then I have a dedicated toothbrush for backpacking. Small, light, fits in my cook pot or my food bag, super easy. Good stuff. Speaking of food bags, you've got a couple of different options. This is a super cool customizable bear hang bag from Hilltop Packs. They sent me this for free. You can get some really cheap bags off of Amazon that work just fine. I've used those on other trips where I needed actually 2 food bags. Or an even cheaper option that I've used before is just a gallon Ziploc freezer bag. Those work well. I don't love single-use stuff, so I try to avoid it. So this is actually a reusable gallon freezer Ziploc bag. That's dishwasher safe. And so this is what I bring now actually for a garbage bag. So with all my food wrappers, everything just goes in there, tea leaves, whatever else, and then I can chuck it all when I get home, throw this in the dishwasher, and it's ready to go. But you could also use it for a food bag. And what goes out must come in, so we're taking a poop shovel. I know a lot of ultralighters will say, just use a tent stake, just use a stick, turn over a rock. I want to be able to dig a hole. This is not my favorite shovel. It takes a little more work than some of the other shovels that I use, but dang, it's light and cheap. $3 and just a couple of ounces, and it'll take you a little more work, so don't wait till the last second. That's my tip for this shovel. All right, first aid kit and repair kit. I put this one together myself. That is the best way to make sure you have everything that you need. It's a stripped down version of what I showed in my first aid kit video. I'll put a link to that up here, but it has everything in it that I need, including a repair kit. Not just a few band-aids, it's got a lot more than that. Talk about the repair kit in a second. We've got some moleskin for blisters, large band-aid, a bunch of band-aids, emergency blanket. It's even got some gloves in there to keep your hands clean if you're working on something nasty. Tweezers for ticks because those are a problem out here. I got ibuprofen, Benadryl, anti-diarrheal. Less than I usually take. I almost never have to take any. I don't want to go with none, so there are some in here. Poison ivy can be a problem, so I brought a poison ivy wipe. These are all things that other ultralighters might leave behind just because they don't want to worry about the weight, but I choose life. Tiny pocket knife. I never use a pocket knife, but I put this one in my first aid kit just in case I need it for something. And then this is half a contact case that I cut in half, and then I put some anti-chafe cream in there, some squirrel's nut butter, alcohol swabs, antibiotic ointment, and actually some backup water tablets. I always put those in my first aid kit, and a gallon Ziploc bag so that I can purify the water in that gallon Ziploc bag if I need to, like if I've lost everything else and this is all I have. Repair kit. Yes, again, this is a slightly stripped down version of what I usually take. I take some of the zip ties out, but there still are a few. Got a few fire starters, a few safety pins, some wussy wipes, and then some rolled up Gorilla tape just in that little pill bag. So that's basically my repair / emergency kit. I just keep that in my first aid kit. This is the Nightcore NU2 headlamp. It's really light, it's pretty bright. It does have regular and red flashing. It's USB-C rechargeable, it's comfortable. Nice and soft right there on the inside. It's just tightened with this toggle and these bungees. It's a great little headlamp. $25 and I think 1.3 ounces. The other thing I need to mention is what I carry my water in. That is 2 smart water bottles. This is the 16.9 ounce. This is a 1 liter. Clearly been squeezed a lot. You can use these way more than once. I probably had these for 3 or 4 years and they have done hundreds of miles with me. Wash them out well when you get home. They last a really long time. So if you want to go this route, buy them, hang on to them. You can get them at the gas station, grocery store, whatever. If you live in the middle of nowhere, can't find these, I will put a link to Amazon because they're actually really cheap on Amazon. You can get 6 of the 1 liters for 10 bucks, I think. This is the, I don't know how to say it, Oenogy 30-liter pack. I actually bought it originally for a long adventure race I was doing because it's more of like a trail runner style pack with these wide shoulder straps, just the whole setup of it. But then I thought, dang, this would be a killer backpacking pack because it's super light, super affordable. You've got all of this storage on the straps here, and I love it because it fits everything that I need, as I'll show you in a minute. It's comfortable, and it works so much better than a traditional backpacking pack, I think. Let me quickly show you how I fit everything in here. I'll pack up camp really quick. I'll leave anything out of my pack that's not part of base weight, food, all of that, and then we'll do a final weigh-in so you can actually check me. It's gonna come in at under 7 pounds. I'm confident, under 7 pounds. Here we go. Quilt goes in the compactor bag first. And I'm telling you, put the bag in the pack and then the quilt in the bag. I've tried to put the quilt in the bag first so I can squish it down. That's a lot harder. Quilt in the compactor bag. Let's put the pad and pillow in there, and then we'll squish it down some more. Something I really like to do with my pillows, when I have this strap, is use it to kind of hold them together like that. So that goes in next. Then our sleeping pad. I do like that this pad has a double valve, so to blow it up, just open it up that much, and then to dump air, open it all the way. I like that. So I fold it into thirds and then roll it up really tight. So you got something that looks like this. Again, I did not bring the stuff sack for this, so try and hold it tight. You could bring a rubber band or something if you wanted, but I just put it in like this because this is going straight in the compactor bag. In your compactor bag, you should put anything else that you want to keep absolutely dry. Sleeping base layers, puffy coat is something I'll put in here if I bring it, other stuff like that. Once you got everything in there, just press down. I'm pressing down with my hands like this so that air can escape out the top right. Then I twist the top and tuck it down the side. That's what's going on in the pack. You can see there's still tons of room in there for everything else. Next thing I put in is the tent. I know you saw it when I took it out, but you're not gonna believe how tightly this Lanshan Pro 1 can back up. That's one thing that makes Sil Nylon and Sil Poly so much better than Dyneema. This stuff packs down so small, and the bag that 3FUL Gear sends with the tent makes it awesome. I'll show you. Some people will tell you to save weight, not to bring a steak bag. Look at those steaks. I'll clean some of that off, but man, I always bring a steak bag. I don't want that on my tent. When you put your tent away, I've got the best news ever. Don't roll it. I hated rolling a tent. Found out it's actually better to stuff it. It'll pack better, and it can actually keep you from wearing your tent out in those same places where you roll it every single time. Just stuff it in there. That's so much better than rolling a tent. So this is how tall the bag is. We're gonna get it down to about there. Before you do that, or at least for me, I like to put this in my tent bag so I don't lose it. But you're gonna wanna stuff it all the way down this side, because that's basically how tall you're gonna get your tent bag. All right, so let's get a ton of air out of here. So you just push it down a little like that, roll it, and then here's the trick. That'll send it down to the bottom. Look how small that is. Clip it. That's your freaking tent. Look at that. Emergency bivvy? No. Fully enclosed shelter. Oh, crazy. Next time I take my Durston out, I might use the Lanshan bag just to get it this small. I gotta find some more bags like this. If you know where to get bags like this, let me know. I put this in my pack next. It takes up so little room, it's crazy. First aid kit, that just goes right on the side of the tent. As you can see, the tent in there, and then first aid kit on the side. Boom. The next thing I put in my pack is my food. We're gonna leave food out because it's base weight, or excuse me, because it's not base weight. Gotta get the stove off of here. Fuel canister will not go in the pack because it's not base weight. I usually put my fuel canister in my pot because it fits really well. Now the stove is one little stuff sack that I do bring. Ultralighters will tell you to leave at home. I like it because I feel like it protects the stove while it's in my pot with the fuel canister and everything. So in there, I'll put my stove, mini Bic lighter, toothbrush, just so I don't forget to include it. Put the lid on there, and I do need to include this. And then to keep my pack more organized, I will usually put this in my food bag with my food, leaving the food out, right? So we'll just put these things directly into the pack. Oh, and the spoon. I usually put that in my food bag as well. But I put that right on top because then I can grab snacks throughout the day. I don't have to worry about trying to carry everything in pockets or whatever. So that goes on top of everything else. And then you can close it up. So that's without food. We've got a few more things to put in though. Poop shovel. I like this accessible at all times. You never know when you're gonna need it. So you put it just right there on the outside. Gotta get the scale out. Definitely not part of base weight. We do need to include the bottles. Dang it, I gotta dump this water out. Get all the water out. All right, we got the scale zeroed out. See how much it weighs. What do we get? 6.84 pounds. Boom. You can absolutely go ultralight on a budget and be comfortable. Now, I gotta tell you, there's a couple things on this pack that are not stock. This sweet bungee on the back, trekking pole holders, I added those with 10 bucks of stuff from Amazon. If you wanna see a video on how to do that, check it out right down here. Super easy, totally worth it. If you haven't subscribed yet, click right here. Remember, life is better with some dirt in it.